Hello everyone, welcome back. In this session today, we are talking about .NET 8. .NET 8, which is the successor of .NET Framework, .NET Core. We are going to talk about the uh, .NET based applications and non-.NET based applications. We are going to talk about what is .NET actually, because .NET has crossed a long journey from .NET Framework to .NET, the definition, the availability, and the properties of .NET. We will go get to know the difference between .NET Framework, .NET Core, and .NET. We will understand the brief history of .NET, which is from 1.1 to 1.0 to 8.0, which is the current version of .NET at the time the video is recorded. We will understand the unification of .NET. We'll further go to understand what makes .NET Core, that is component of .NET Core, and then we'll go to understand what all application which can be built at the top of .NET. Especially right now we are talking about .NET 8. So what all kind of application that can be built at the top of .NET 8. Finally, we'll understand that what comes with .NET 8. At the end of this session, you would be able to understand .NET concepts completely. You would be able to differentiate between .NET Framework, .NET Core, and .NET. You would be able to understand what all components of .NET, and finally, you would be able to understand what comes in .NET 8. What are features, the language features, and the other features than .NET 8. You would be at least having complete idea and detailed idea on selecting .NET as your one of the future projects or the current projects. So let's go and try to understand it. The first and foremost thing that I wanted to explain you and try to understand with me is application which talks directly to operating system and an application which does not directly talk to an operating system. So talk about a C++, a classic C++ program which you have written to do something. So what happens? It uses the operating system's APIs and its routines to execute its activities, right? And then it is tightly coupled with the operating system. Change of anything in the operating system is directly going to impact your application. It's as simple as you are calling a person by name. If the name gets changed, or there is a change in the place of the person is not available to you. So let's say I am calling an X routine of this API of this operating system, and if I'm directly talking to operating system, I am dependent upon this operating system and fully dependent upon this, right? On the contrary, what happens? Somebody comes in the middle and say that, hey, I have a bundle. This bundle has two things. Number one, I'll give you lots of libraries, right? What do you want to do? You want to write an application to send emails to people? I'll give you some email libraries. Do you want to do some security stuff? So security applications? I have security libraries. I'll give you. You can write those applications. You want to do socket programming? You want to do some other stuff, right? I have all libraries with me. I can give. I will make your life easier, right? So your application will be using these libraries, and at the same time, it says, okay, once you have written your application, now it's my duty to run it and manage your applications at runtime. So that's where core CLR, that is common language runtime, it provides many features like garbage collection, which is memory management, class loading, security checks, and lots of other stuffs, which helps your application to run at runtime. So see how beautiful it is. Instead of you are relying directly to operating system, you are relying to this bundle, and the bundle is free, right? It's free, and then this further can talk to any operating system. It could be a Windows, it could be a Mac, it could be a Linux, right? So you are not worrying on, because you are not completely depending upon the OS. Instead, you are depending upon this bundle. Bundle is free and open source, and then it says that you should be good to have any OS file support all, right? So here is the difference. This is a .NET based applications, and this is non.NET or native applications. Hope the concept of a .NET application and .NET application is clear to you now. And now you have started getting a kind of interest here is that .NET is going to resolve a big problem that is not there available within non.NET world. Going ahead, defining it, it's a free, it's open source, it's managed computer software framework for Windows, Linux, and Mac. It was mainly developed by Microsoft employees and .NET Foundation. Goes under MIT license. It is the core is now, which is now simply called as .NET, is a redesigned version of .NET framework. Now there are three terms: .NET Core, .NET, and .NET Framework. So it's a little confusing here, but I will request you just wait for some time, a couple of minutes, and you would be able to define and differentiate between these three. They are all more or less a little different, and then they come under the journey of .NET. Okay, so be patient for some time. Again, let's go. So here there are three things for you. So we have framework, we have core, and we have .NET. So the story started with very in a back day in 2002 when people started thinking of a new kind of programming. Those days, basically, the framework came in, right? So it was the same story. It was saying that okay, you have an OS. At the top of the OS, I'll give you a package. The package will be having two parts. One, it will be having a CLR, that is common language runtime, and the other will give you some libraries, right? You write your program, and your program will depend on this packet, and then we will be making your life easier. But then the problem was this was not completely OS dependent. Like if you were going for Mac or Xamarin or some Mac, then you have to have another kind of framework here, right? But you have to different framework that you have to rely. There was no unification here. Got it? And this story continued. So this version started 1.0 in 2002, came in like 1.1, 2.0, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, and like we have got 4.8.1 is the latest, is the last one in 2022, right? So while this was getting mature and this was getting popular among the people, there was another segment getting developed parallelly. And they came up with this plan that okay, this will remain the same, but now this will even not be having different for different operating system. It will be unified stuff, right? So what happened? They started developing concepts, and then it came in like 2016 only, parallel with this 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, and 3.1 like that. And then they termed it as a core. The concept of this core was that you are actually having the same concept. You have a bundle, as we talked in last slide, but then you are not going to depend on the OS as well, because the same bundle will work for different OS. So somebody took it over, right? And then finally, we have started getting 5.0, 6.0, 7.0, and currently at the time of video is being released in July 2024, it is 8.0, right? And then they went ahead and then they are calling it as a .NET. So you say that initially it was framework, then core, and then we are calling it as a .NET. Now it will be termed as .NET. There is no 4.0 .NET as such because there was a clash between framework 4 and this 4. That's why you will not see any version 4 of core or .NET, right? Hope this is clear to you. Moving ahead, brief history. 2016-2018, .NET Core 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, and then 2019 we have Core 3.1 LTS long-term support, and then we have November 2022, we have 21, we have 22. So you see that there is a release in every November 2022, November 2021, November 2022, November 2023. And there is one more difference is that all odd years, right? 2019, 2021, 2023, we have long-term support. They have long-term support. And all even years, we have not long-term support, the short-term support stuff, right? So like 7.0, which was released in 2022 November, its support is getting end in May 2024. It's already over, right? So, but this is which came in 2023 has got 3 years almost long-term support, right? And we are expecting another version this November 2024 is .NET 9. So this is a journey of .NET Core, and right here, but 2022, this .NET Core got transitioned to .NET. Now .NET, 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 and .NET. Unification of .NET we talked about. We have base class library, we have then used to be framework, then we had Mono and then Xamarin, but now Core VCL and then .NET Core, and every operating system can work on this. There are three segments basically that makes .NET. Core CLR. Core CLR is nothing but the common language runtime. It provides many features when your program runs. So while running your program, the runtime support is given by Core CLR. This can be many things like garbage collection, which is actually the memory management, assembly loading, and lot many other things. So it's overall giving protection to your application which is running at the runtime. CoreFX comes with lots of libraries which you can use, which we have already talked about. CLI, that is command line interface tool, and Roslyn is a language compiler. So if you say what Core is made up of, so these are three components majorly: Core CLR, CoreFX, CLI, and Roslyn. Talking about this operating system, can be Mac, can be Windows, and can be Linux. At the top of that, we have Core CLR, common language runtime. At the top of this, we have FX, that is library. We can have ASP.NET Core application, and we can have a multi-platform app user interface apps. We can have Internet of Things apps interface, and so many other IoT applications, or so many others. At the top of that, we have common language specification. You write a program in C#, you write a program in VB.NET, you write a program in J#, and every language and many more, which will all supported by common language specification. Finally, this gets developed using Visual Studio. It can be Visual Studio, Microsoft Visual Studio, or Visual Studio Code. All right. What can be built with .NET? So we can build web application, we can build mobile application, we can build desktop application, cloud applications, we can have microservices, we can mobile machine learning applications, we can game development, IoT development, backend APIs, and lot many others. What comes with .NET 8? So C# 12 is the first thing. C# is a language which was primarily, which was developed by Microsoft, and it has gone through its long journey. It started with 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 3, 4.0, and likewise we had lot many versions coming in. And at the time when we are talking about .NET 8, .NET 8 has come up with a language version C# 12. C# 12 has come up with lot many other features, new features: primary constructor using on any type, inline arrays, default lambda parameters, name of changes, collection expression, interceptors, and many more. Discussion on the C# in detail of all about is beyond the scope of this session. We will be having a separate session on videos on this. Don't forget to watch that. We will also be having another videos which will be talking about the journey of C# from 1.1 to 12. So also don't forget to watch that. We will be having new APIs at the top of .NET 8, new randomness method, time provider, new data validated, etc. We have a head of time which is at the top of JIT. It was the part of 7.0, but now there are many enhancements at 8 and ASP.NET Core improvements where at full stack web API for Blazor, backgrounding options, extend key services. Again, these all features are detailed in themselves. So in this small video, we would not be able to cover all of them. But yes, there is a promise that there will be having separate videos for all of them very soon. And then finally, we have multi-platform app user interface. Now there are many enhancements like stabilization, many performance elements enhancement, minor new features. And Microsoft Orleans is the final cross-platform framework for building robust and scalable distributed application. So I hope that the stuffs that we have discussed related to .NET 8 is pretty much clear to you. I have been able to convey what I wanted to convey. I think you are now very much aware of the fact, the journey of .NET from .NET framework. You would be able to choose .NET 8 as your one of the projects if you want to select. So see you in some other video. Bye-bye.